Hookaju, I am from the planet of Hookaju. I am here to say hello and take all of your maple syrup. A rare entity that will fuel me entirely with fruitful. Yes. Delicious ship fuel to fly into space and enter the galactic races that will make me win with these two homeless men.
Yeah, that'd be us, Don.
And Greg.
Yeah.
Please untie us, Mr. Alien Man.
That'd be great. We got to do our show now. Would you mind?
No, like I said, I need the maple syrup in order to enter the galactic race, and you are coated in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just because of something Greg and I were doing is that we do to warm up for the show. We also kind of...
Also, I wanted to get warm, so I poured a bunch on me.
Yeah, and we had flapjacks, which we ate, and we started wrestling. It was a whole thing.
You are positively dripping. Look at this.
Okay, well, there's no need... All right, well, yeah. I mean, you could taste it. That's fine. And if you need to take it off of us, that's
yes, that is pure maple syrup.
Yeah, what'd you think?
The only thing that can fuel my spaceship.
All right, well, just go ahead and take it off. Do you have, like, a machine, a collector or something?
I've got a broom and a dustpan.
All
It's
right,
not
well-
very great at getting maple syrup off.
Okay, Mr. Alien Man, you didn't
So
bring any
hold-
technology
hold on,
with
just
you?
Hold on a second. I've got a few things here.
Yeah, go ahead and take your time there, big guy.
All right, we're not, nobody's listening or anything.
All right, now, just to set this vacuum cleaner.
Ooh, is that a Dyson? That's good.
Yes, I took it from your planet. Your planet actually has a lot of really cool shit.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
it's
dude,
not bad.
I mean, do you have anything worth noting?
None of your business.
Oh, you dick.
Come on now. Oh, yeah, there we go. That tickles.
All right, now, press your chest up against it. I want to try and get all the maple syrup off,
Okay,
and then I
okay,
can let
great.
you
Oh, yeah,
boys off.
don't forget the window. Don't forget the window.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you some kind of space shuttle too?
No. This is something that it's a laser thing. My vertebrae
It's
is
something
showing.
stupid because he likes people looking at his innards.
Yeah, it's a
That's
terrarium.
weird.
It's
That's
a terrarium.
really weird, man.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird thing. We've
All right,
talked
lift
about
up your load.
it. Okay. There you go. Get all the way underneath there. There it is.
Lift it.
Yep. There we go.
All right. Why you just coated in it? Do you
We were wrestling. What do you want me to say? We got
Yeah,
got
dude,
everywhere.
it was like Foxy Boxing, but, two grown men with sticky sweet stuff.
We do different stuff to try and get warmed up for the show. It's a whole thing. It's a whole
now
thing.
for the one with the freakishly sharp teeth.
Hey, I take a...
Oh, Greg, he's got him right in the mouth there. You did have a lot of maple syrup in your mouth.
He has a lot in his gut too. Have
Yeah.
you just been swallowing this?
Well, he kind of... Yeah, he also tries to make it himself. He's got honey and stuff. And wow. All right, well, yeah, take the vacuum out of there. Jesus.
You knocked my damn headphones off, man.
You okay, Greg?
I think so.
Hold on a second. Let me just
Yeah.
grab this for you. I still don't want to untie you, especially you. You tried to bite me.
Well, come on, man. You're coming at us with all this weird machinery and a broom.
Also, I've never bitten an alien before. Come on, just put your hand, like, right here.
Let him taste you, bro. You're taking our syrup. You're taking our syrup.
No, no. This is the trade. I'm cleaning you. You're clean.
We didn't ask for this. You popped up in our boxcar. We were just about to get started.
Well,
You
listen,
walked
I
in
just
here.
gave you the best bath you guys have probably had in months.
Not with water, though. Just with a vacuum. A nice
I
vacuum.
still sucked up on... Listen, this is an intergalactic styled Hoover vacuum.
All right,
I mean,
fine.
look at him.
Yeah, he's shiny.
I am sparkly.
Yeah, he's shiny now.
Also, I'm not as full
Well,
anymore.
that sucks. See you guys.
Okay. Wow. That was so bizarre.
Well, it's cool that he has teleportation beams and shit.
Well, that's how we got in here. All of a sudden, we were wrestling, and all of a sudden, we're tied up.
Yeah, now there's a nice sick-ass hole in the boxcar.
Oh, come on, man. You couldn't just warp through that? You know he could have. He easily could have done that. Instead, he fucking takes the ceiling off. Thanks a lot, Knick Knack.
Paddywhack, give a dog a bone, you dick.
Wow. Okay, so...
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know. And we're both still naked, vacuumed up, no maple syrup, no pancakes left.
Oh, wait, just a second.
What is that? Little care package?
That's a little drone.
Oh, okay.
Oh. It's got a little note. Hey, it's our clothes.
thank you. Oh, good.
Let me read this. All right. To Don and Greg, thank you. I will now become the world's fastest racer. Here, I've enclosed 5,000 space bucks.
Ooh.
Oh,
Space bucks. What is that, like a fucking Chuck E. Cheese coin
this
or
shit's,
something?
This shit's no better than Monopoly money.
Ah, fuck
Way to
you,
go, dick.
Knick-knack. All right, well, hey, listen.
Well, at least our clothes are clean.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, this zip-up hoodie, man. I haven't had this since high school. This is great. Check it out. If I zip it up right to it, I can still show off the terrarium with the vertebrae, and I'm still all warm and shit.
Wow, I can see it in full again.
It's like Iron Man. Yeah,
great.
I love it.
Except the Iron Man, it was actually keeping him alive.
Yeah,
that
true.
I think is actually killing you.
Yeah, this is the opposite. I'm the anti-Iron Man for sure.
I don't think that's something to be proud about,
like
Don.
Copper Man or something like that. Like it's just no good.
No, it's no good. Yeah. Anyway, hi everybody.
Hi.
It's us, Don and Greg.
We're the
back
Boxcar
again.
Buddies, and we appreciate you joining us again. That visit you just kind of heard of, if you're still around anyway, was this weird alien guy who just kind of...
He was all yellow and he had like 7 tentacles for mouths.
Yeah, and he was sliming stuff up in here, and yet he made such a big deal about our maple syrup. He seemed to be grossed out by it.
Well, from what he explained, maple syrup apparently is a rarity in actual space, and Earth is kind of like a fuel deposit planet.
Well, which is interesting, but it's like, why wouldn't you go to Canada? Why wouldn't you go to like the maple syrup capital of the world?
we were in it. There was a lot.
I guess if he was looking for scans and like maybe specifically temperature scans, like looking for warm maple syrup, I mean, we were wrestling around.
He's probably got like a
ours.
maple syrup tracker. He's just like, ooh, who's nice and sticky?
Damn! Like, look at that temperature, 98.6.
Look at those footsteps tracking by. They sure are sweet.
Two sets
Some
of
sweet-
footsteps.
Some sweet feet.
Who's following who?
He followed us.
Yeah, he
because he took maple
did.
syrup from us.
I know.
He also took everything I had in my tummy.
He took everything from us. Damn it, Knick-knack. All right,
Damn you, Knick-knack!
Anyway, Greg and I were, before we were, interrupted like that and everything happened, we were just kind of getting set up here for this week's episode. And what Greg and I like to do, in case this is your first time joining us, is we like to get together as two homeless bros in Chicago, which is what we are. And once a week, we'll join up in an abandoned boxcar, set up some recording equipment, and talk about some content that we've both watched or played or listened to or experienced in some way.
Yeah, because we like to escape from the realities, the cold, harsh realities.
Yes, anytime we can. Any moment that we can spend in an altered state or in a different, in a different...
Dimension?
Yeah, exactly. It's better because, who wants to be stuck in, your life
Who wants to be in reality?
No.
Chicago 2018.
Not all the time.
Yuck.
Not all the time. Not every day. Not a fan of it.
Icky. P-U.
Yeah, that's right.
Stanko.
Yeah, not a fan. So anyway, that's why we do what we do, and we have some characters, we have some people kind of come in and join us in the boxcar whenever when we invite them or whenever they jump in of their own accord, and that is what happened today with Knick-knack. It was inconvenient for us though, as it was right before we were about to start recording. So we apologize for that weird beginning. And now that we've both got some clothes, we've got no food, but we'll get past that.
We'll get filled somewhere.
Yeah, but anyway, what I actually ended up seeing this week, Greg, by way of content, was there was, if you'll recall last week, I got caught in this time loop on the rooftop with Raj.
With Raj.
Yeah, with Raj. Good old buddy Raj. And it definitely got weird, but we have since talked about everything. I think we're on a mutual playing field now. We're both just friends. He's not trying to do any weird stuff. He's not trying to poison me.
He's not stopping time and just kind of like appearing.
Well, no, not.
He's not giving you dark secrets.
He's not, but he did stop time again, and this time it was actually.
How does he do it?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
He doesn't have weird cosmos shit.
He doesn't use anything either. Like, I'm looking for one of those like necklaces where he turns like an hourglass upside down,
or the Harry Potter thing where they've got the dumbass clock
exactly
to save a hippogriff.
Exactly, or like some kind of powder or some like I'm
or
looking
a car,
for him to do some anything.
or a telephone booth,
as far
or
as,
a remote control.
Take your pick.
Or a toaster.
Yeah, any one of those classic time stopping devices. But he didn't have any of those, apparently. I don't know if he's got some, maybe he's got, a panic button on his hip or something that I'm not seeing. His robes are really flowy. Maybe he's got something under the diamond turban.
You know what? he's probably doing like a Houdini thing. It's like all of his tricks are right underneath the turban.
Yeah,
As soon as he lifts it off, like you just see like he's got like this Mandark thing. It's just all metal brain.
All kinds of buttons and shit. He's got all kinds of shortcuts there. Yeah.
He used all the money that he took out of what was it? Oregon.
Oh yeah,
Ohio.
Oregon. Yeah, the city. Yes, Antelope.
He just took it all out of
Right.
and he was like, "Please turn my brain into a robot."
Listen, if I want one thing from everyone, it would be to have a metallic brain, and I would like shortcuts for all my favorite things to do.
Also, I want everyone here poisoned.
By the way, if I could,
If anyone wants to buy the new Rajneesh coat,
you
please.
can find it at Rajneesh stores or
or
rajneeshpuram.com.
at the gift store right behind here.
It's because that is the that's the second from the left button on the back of my skull. I can pop up a gift store anytime.
But so anyway,
He has free advertising from his own head.
Yeah,
just pushes a button
it's a
and just a
billboard.
billboard
It's a
pops up.
Digital billboard. It's 2018. He can do all that stuff. It's like a little projector.
Pew.
Just on the back of a building.
Rajneeshpuram.com.
Yeah. So anyway, though, I went back to Scummy's, Scumfuck Flower Boy, our botanist friend. He has this kind of haven up on this high rise in the city, and we go to it when we can. And after I got out of the free clinic from the last time I hung out with Rajneesh, I was telling Scummy everything. Scummy said he might be going out of the country again, wanted me to keep his experiments going, all that. So before he left, and as I was talking to him and telling the story of Raj, who should pop up in the doorway but Raj? And I was freaked. Uninvited, totally uninvited.
Bad manners.
He didn't blow up the door. He just popped up inside.
Oh, that's bad manners too.
It's still intrusive. It's very, even more so, you might say, because there's no warning whatsoever, and then all of a sudden he's trespassing. So it was definitely weird. But he comes in there, and before Scummy even noticed it, he did stop time. Raj did, and so it's him and I kind of sitting in there in another one of these time bubbles, but this time inside Scummy's house.
Whoa.
And Raj took the opportunity to say
Don, I want to apologize for last time. I feel like I came on very strong. It was not good. It was not polite.
And I was like, it was very weird. I was just up there pondering in my catsuit like I do, and all of a sudden I'm stuck in a time loop, and this dude's plying me with vodka and turning on Netflix and whatever.
He was trying to take advantage of you.
He totally was trying to take advantage of me. So I expressed that, and he was like,
yes, I was trying to take advantage of you, but you're a very good-looking man, and I wanted to say that maybe we can be friends, okay? I'm not going to try and poison you. I'm not trying to get in your taint. Why don't we just hang out together, okay?
And I was like, okay, I'll give you another shot. I'm an optimist, and I'll just give people another shot. So he didn't end the time loop, and I didn't realize this until a few hours had gone by. But he was like,
why don't we watch something now? What do you want to watch? Anything at all.
And I'd been seeing these ads for this new HBO documentary, Wrestler, on Andre the Giant.
Ooh.
It's basically just
our favorite big boy from The Princess Bride.
Absolutely. Fezzik? Is that?
Fezzik.
Yes. Classic dude. Classic role.
I don't want to hurt you. I'm a pacifist.
Anybody want a peanut?
It's great stuff. Yeah, gotta love him. He's
I am the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Not the most articulate guy, but amazing. Everybody loved him, and so I've been
a great guy to be around.
I'd been seeing his picture on the documentary. HBO had been advertising it, so I'm like, sure, why don't we watch it? And so Raj turned it on, and I mean, it's just about 90 minutes, like an hour 25, something like that. And the documentary is about Andre's life. They start with the small village he was born in outside of Paris, and they talk about what it was like growing up. He's got two brothers, his mom and dad, still alive, when the documentary was filmed anyway. And it was just, it was fascinating from start to finish. It really was. And, before I'll get into any of the details, and I don't want to spoil stuff either, but I'll just say that what was so cool and I think so fascinating, not just about the documentary, but about Andre himself, is that, and the documentary makes this point, is that we have, as humans, stories are really important.
Yeah.
It's how we tell each other lessons. It's how we pass information from generation to generation. You can just, there's a lot of important things about stories with humans. And we have had people in history around whom legends are built, myths are built. Davy Crockett was a real man, and then a myth grew around him. Johnny Appleseed was a real person. Vlad the Impaler, even Dracula.
Yeah, not many people get the facts about Johnny Appleseed right. He would physically inject apple seeds into people.
Yeah, and he was trying to grow them out of people. Yeah, so
But, you know...
Johnny, not sort of a villain, actually, and history doesn't remember him
They
that
have
way.
to try and make him seem like a good guy, like
Right.
Christopher Columbus, like, oh, he may have killed all these indigenous people, but he found America.
Right, he really...
Johnny Appleseed, he may have been a serial killer back in colonial periods, but he was a great guy.
Right, exactly. History's been unnecessarily kind to both of those people. I don't understand it. Chris Columbus especially. It's like, dude, why are we going to celebrate some dude that just poofed syphilis over an entire indigenous people and just killed him?
I heard that he could actually breathe syphilis.
Yeah, he would just blow
Like it was a sack in his throat. He just...
His syphilis sack. Yeah, absolutely.
The
Chris
syph
Columbus.
sack.
Yeah, the syph sack in 1492. Columbus, poofed syphilis all over me and you, and then it's that's the third grade rhyme. It's classic stuff. But anyway, the reason I bring that up is because with Andre the Giant, he's an example of somebody who it's like history did not create his legendary status. He was at once during his life human being and legend. And what the documentary kind of showed is that there's a dark side of that. Being so large, he could never hide. The guy was 7'4" and 500 pounds.
What if they put like a dinner cloth over his head? He's hidden. Where's Andre?
I don't know. I haven't seen him anywhere. The Death Pilot Roberts! I gotta get on the plane! Everybody move!
Oh, jeez.
Everybody move!
Yeah, he's totally. Yeah, okay. This is just my friend.
Like parting
Stu.
the Red Sea. This is my big friend, Clothy.
Yeah. Let's go, Clothy. Let's go on. Let's go on up here.
My feet are in constant pain.
Which is really sad because he actually was like he.
Well,
had
yeah, of course. Like people who have gigantism, like,
acromegaly. Exactly.
it's insane.
Yes, and actually the documentary goes into that. Andre was the kind of guy, he never really went to the doctor. He didn't get sick very often. He didn't have many problems. And even if he did, he just kind of dealt with them with a significant amount of alcohol and denial and stuff.
A lot
of alcohol.
Because most cans of Budweiser, like pictures that have been seen of him, I feel like 16-ounce cans were made specifically for Andre the Giant.
Even so, they just look regular. Because
Yeah.
a tall boy in Andre's hand would look like a 12-ounce can. Yeah, some of the pictures are amazing. Some of the old footage in the 70s when he'd be talking with reporters and wrestling promoters, and then they'd go, the wrestling promoters, my God, Andre, why don't you put your hand up next to mine? And Andre just, ooh, and like he would put his hand.
He didn't actually do like a full ogre
grunt.
like,
no, of course not. No. What he would do is he would just slap his
he wasn't
hand.
freak. He wasn't like, yeah.
No, and I shouldn't portray him as like that or whatever. I did enjoy like some of the hearing some of the audio of him in the documentary was great. It was just he's just talking to people, and one of the real gems of the documentary is all the other wrestlers doing impressions of each other. Like there's a lot of footage of Hulk Hogan because obviously Andre and Hulk Hogan were they worked a lot together.
Yeah, and Hulk Hogan fucked his wife.
Oh, God. No, that wasn't in the documentary.
I'm just making reference to that shitty fucking porno that him and his friend's ex-wife.
Oh, God, Hulk. No, I never saw that. The whole Gawker thing.
Here
Yeah.
comes the Hulk's big hulking cock.
Yeah, brother.
Let me put it in your Hulk.
We used to be brothers until I fucked your wife, brother.
We're even closer than brothers now.
Yeah. So
We're womb brothers.
So Hulk Hogan is doing impressions of like Andre and like Macho Man Randy Savage and like so hearing these wrestlers do impressions like of each other was one of the best parts like of the documentary. But they would tell stories about like Andre was he would always be playing cards back in the locker room, and this one guy Tim, who ended up becoming Andre's handler and probably best friend and everything, but was not a wrestler, was just a regular dude. He was talking about like the first time he started working with Andre, and he broke this cardinal rule, which is you don't go in the locker room when the wrestlers are back there. Like nobody does. No cameras, no reporters. Like it's just them and like maybe like the boss man, like a Vince McMahon or somebody.
Yeah.
So this Tim Wright guy on his first day just waltzes in the locker room, and Andre's apparently, according to like Tim, Andre just looks up from the card table and he's like, "Get out," and he's just like, Tim's like, "No, I'm one of you guys, I'm just I'm a guy, I'm working with you, I'm part of your crew now." And Andre he says he stood up, pushes the table away, and walks towards him. "Get out!" You know what I mean? Like really, and then but you picture it because like you can. what's cool is that all these people that they interviewed in the documentary, you can see in their eyes like that they have seen Andre the Giant. It's like this light when they would talk, when they would remember something, like he stood up in front of you and he just started like, he would just spread his arms wide, and it's like fucking gigantic.
He spread the black crawl around his head forward.
Yeah, blocks out the sun, you know, like,
and wrapped his opponent in it, and then he would remove his arms, and all of a sudden he would vanish.
Yes, exactly. It turned into crows and just fly away. Yeah, but
it's like we're back at Dinosaur Story.
Yeah, weird. But the documentary is so good, and so it was about Andre's life, which was as legendary as it was a lot sadder than you might think. It was full of pain. Again, his friends talked about how much he would have loved for like a weekend to be a normal person. You know, another thing they talk about is that this is the 70s and the 80s. Like now in 2018, there might be some accommodations for like that size of a man. But someone traveling around the world to hit the global wrestling circuit, traveling to Japan in the late 1970s for a gigantic man like that, they would tell, like, he could not fit in the airplane bathroom. They would literally, when he'd have to take a piss, they'd have to roll out a curtain, give him a bucket, and he would just piss in it, and some fucking flight attendant had to dump that bucket in the actual toilet. Like, he couldn't go into regular cars. He couldn't, go into a movie theater. Like,
they had to put him in the bed of, like, pickup trucks.
Yeah, even things like beds, like going to a hotel room. They'd have to find a bed for him, and if they couldn't,
I've heard the stories of, like, apparently he got super, super drunk one night, and he passed out in a fucking hotel lobby. They couldn't even fucking move him.
Exactly. Like the hotel owner, apparently, once Andre was passed out on the floor for like an hour, he comes over there, and one of the handlers, Tim, this guy who's with him, was like, "What do you?" The owner says to him, like, "What are you going to do?" And Tim goes, wait until he wakes up, or he goes, "Call AAA. That's the best I can tell for you." Like that's literally all we can do. And the other, Hulk Hogan, corroborated. He said, "I wasn't there the night when he passed out, but I got there the next morning, and Andre was still knocked out." So like it was the morning of a wrestling thing, and he was still like passing on the floor. But that's kind of what they talked about. The way he dealt with a lot of the stuff was that he drank, and the stories of Andre drinking are as legendary as the guy himself, because obviously a gigantic man would take
a gigantic amount of alcohol.
Yes, and so there were, to hear those stories along with the other things of just his life and everything, to hear Ric Flair talk about the one night that they went out drinking and Andre had 106 beers in that one night with Ric Flair, like that kind of tells you. There was another reporter from back in the day that they interviewed a lot of, and he said he was talking to Andre on a show one time. It was like, it was in his first time like coming to this state or this region or country, and he's like, "Hey Andre, what'd you do last night?" "Well, I got to the hotel and then I went out and had a drink, boss." And it's just like, okay, what does a man like you drink? What's a giant? Like, how do you start the night? Just 4 bottles of wine, 3 bottles of cognac, 12 beers. And he literally in his own mouth started rattling off what he was drinking on like a Wednesday
whole
night.
Wine cellar.
Yeah, and so they would just, the way that they talked about it, and everyone just corroborated, like you could not keep up with the guy like that. And these wrestlers,
I feel like there are stories of just like dickheads, like complete dickheads at bars or wherever, just like, "I'm gonna outdrink you, Andre the Giant," only for them to like get through like maybe like 4 or 5 6-packs, and Andre is just like, "Are you still going?"
Yeah, like and
I want to go home.
Right, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, after Andre would like list all those things that he drank to the reporter's like, "Oh wow, so like you must have been drunk." He's like, "No, not drunk, just a little bit." You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's what he'd say. He's like, just a little tipsy, and it's like that's kind of how he would like go through life. They said he'd start drinking at like 9 a.m. He would come to like into like a WrestleMania or something. He'd come into the locker room at 9 a.m. with a case of wine, and he'd start drinking it like at 9 a.m. and he'd go all day. And it was like that's what he did. But like we mentioned with gigantism, with acromegaly, like once he was diagnosed and he knew it, he was like 30-some years old, and he'd been wrestling already, but he's still growing. Like a lot of parts, like that's the thing with acromegaly. It's a tumor on your pituitary. You never stop growing. So this guy's like 35 years old, and his joints and like all his stuff, especially when he started, like getting, 500 pounds. What does that do when you're walking
To
on
your fucking
ankles
knees.
and knees every day. So he had to get a bunch of surgeries. He had to do a lot of stuff. But the documentary builds to the climax of WrestleMania 3. And one of the other fascinating parts of this documentary was it was obviously about Andre's life, but it was also about professional wrestling and the journey of that going from these local regional shows, and because of the invent of cable television at the same time, Vince McMahon took the New York region and spread it nationally, and he invented the WWF, WCW, and like I remember growing up and watching those. Everybody in school and all that was watching wrestling. And there were all the dolls of like a Hulk Hogan. There were these wrestling buddies that me and my brother had that they're little teddy bears and you'd beat them up and everything. But like the WrestleMania 3 was Andre the Giant against Hulk Hogan. And that is like one of, if not the most iconic wrestling match of all time. And this documentary showed how they promoted it, because Andre was the good guy his entire career, but in order to make WrestleMania 3 work, they had to turn him into the bad guy.
They had to turn him into the heel.
Yeah, the heel, exactly. So Hogan became the good dude. They did a lot of promotion where Andre comes out and they have like a negative interaction. Andre rips Hulk's shirt. Hulk bursts into tears. Like, they promoted it like crazy, and then they got these people into a frenzy, sold out a stadium in Detroit of like 93,000 people, the largest ever. I mean, it was historic, and that was kind of what launched wrestling as sort of, I don't even think it's the same today as it was maybe 20 years ago. Like in the 90s, wrestling was crazy.
Because back in the 90s, like, people weren't onto the facade.
Yes.
They thought it was the real deal.
Well, yeah, but I
like
mean,
the fucking rivalries between some of these guys, like, that felt real.
absolutely.
Nowadays, you're like, we know. I watched The Wrestler. I saw Mickey Rooney cut his hand on the deli slicer.
And do all that cocaine and bang that bartender in the bathroom. It's weird.
And then he was in a scene, it was all black and white, and there was a big heart-shaped bed.
His daughter hates him.
Dollar hates him.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'll just, the wrestler, and they talk about The Princess Bride a lot. They talked with Rob Reiner, Billy Crystal, Robin Wright. Like, to hear all these people talk about Andre the Giant again, it was just really insightful, really well done, a great documentary. It's HBO. I mean, like, the footage is great, the directing was good. They really made it feel like a journey.
And it's not a docu-series, right? It's
just one. It's a one and done. It's a 90-minute movie, and it's well worth your time, because even if you didn't watch wrestling like I did as a kid, even if you're not fascinated with like how it became what it did become in the 90s and all that, and the Vince McMahon thing, just to sort of watch this movie about a legend in our world. Like, this was in the 20th century. This was a man who was famous just because he could, I mean, and when I say he couldn't hide anywhere, his face, like, he never wore makeup like other wrestlers did. He didn't wear a costume. He didn't do that stuff. He was literally always just him, like just Andre.
He couldn't disguise himself. He couldn't do like a Macho Man thing where he just takes off the sunglasses and bandana. He's just like,
exactly, or put on a hoodie or something and jeans and like walk around. He didn't have.
I mean,
that luxury.
he could do all those things, but immediately just be like, "Hey, it's Andre the Giant!"
Right, exactly. That hoodie's whipping at the seams.
I just imagine like It's a Hard Day's Night, like at the beginning sequence of that film, like, with all the Beatles running. It's just Andre the Giant. But he's just like, leave me alone!
Right, running away from them? Yeah.
I want to be free.
Yeah. So,
I want to break free. Peanut?
Yeah, so, but I'm totally recommending it. I think it's worth the watch because it is insightful, and it puts you in the shoes, and just to know again that this was like a legend in our time. Like, this guy wasn't 100 years ago. You know, it wasn't in some other world. He was a figure out of the storybooks, but very much come to life. Well, and it's cool.
When did he die? It was like early 90s, wasn't it?
No, I think it was either the late 90s or early 2000s, and either way, he was 46 years old when he did die, so it was...
But that's still because of the gigantism.
Yes, exactly. When he did get diagnosed, but when the doctor who did surgery on his ankle for the first time, or his knee, when the doctor did diagnose him with it, he said, like, look, we can try and do surgeries or stop it, but like either way, you're probably not going to live past 40. Like, they told him that. So what Vince McMahon says is that, like, I mean, they did the WrestleMania thing in like 86 or something. Andre was already done with wrestling, and Vince was talking about how he like looked like he was ready to go off and die at that time. And the way that Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon talk about it is that WrestleMania 3 gave him sort of a reason to live. And I don't know, if that's 100% accurate or whatever, but like they just said he did
it's something that they can put in their minds to be like, this is how we remember our friend.
And either way, he did get the surgeries, even though he seemed like he was inclined not to. And what was super cool again that I thought is that like Hulk is talking about the wrestling match itself, and like he didn't even know if Andre was going to be able to do anything physically because he was so hurt at this time. His back was no good, his knees were no good. So Hulk Hogan, like, trying to body slam him and do all this stuff, like, he literally didn't know going into this huge wrestling match how much they were going to be able to do, what kind of a show it was going to be. And so that's it. It's cool to hear about all that. So I recommend it. Recommend it wholeheartedly.
Well, while we're on the topic of HBO, I was able to catch something. So HBO. I went into Evanston.
Oh,
I went back to
It's your first time going back there in a while.
Yeah, but the good thing is because I've been dressing in hoodies lately.
Oh
just
boy,
cover the face up.
Yeah, you do. Plus that metal hand.
The metal hand. Like people are looking for a sharp-toothed person with 2 arms.
Yep.
I am a sharp-toothed person with a robot hand and 1 arm.
And wearing hoodies. Mm-hmm. Not really showing off the face.
Yeah, so I did door-to-door, and I accidentally ended up coming across that family I've been trying to avoid.
Oh, my God, man. How do you do that every time? It's like a beacon.
They were just there. I finally got to know them.
Really?
Yes. So
you guys friends now?
Something.
Do they understand it from your point of view?
They understand it. It's Tommy and Janice Robinson. They're
the Robinsons.
Yeah, they're just two friendly folks. They got 2 kids.
Mrs. Robinson. That happened?
She didn't like when I started singing that.
Did you talk about The Graduate? Did you talk about Dustin Hoffman?
She was like, please don't, because I've had that.
I've never heard that before in my life.
Yeah, it's like talking to people who work in radio. Oh, you got the face for it.
Oh, that's a great joke. I've never heard that before in my life. Anyway, Robinsons.
So I go to the Robinsons' place, and I was playing it cool. I was like, I need to use a bathroom really bad.
Hey guys, this really, catching really up bad. Is great.
So
but I've got to vacate.
So I was trying to do like the whole like, hey, I'm part of the Mormon Church, and I'm here to represent as being a Mormon.
Hoodie with a metallic hand and jeans. They wear like suits and ties.
I just said that it's been a rough couple weeks as a Mormon.
Oh yeah,
it's been tough goings.
God's abandoned me.
God is a bitch. Listen, I just need to take a leak, and I'll be out of your hair. And they're very friendly. They're like, oh, just don't worry about it. Come on up. I go use their bathroom, and they invite me into the kitchen, and they're like, oh, what? They poured me a little cup of tea, and we just had a nice conversation about the Lord Jeebus. I'm not great with the Mormon religion, but they weren't either, so I just kind of came up with shit like on the fly. And
nice.
It was okay.
Well, that sounds kind of fun.
They're like, oh, what's the name of your prophet again?
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Werber. Schmutty Werber. Schmutty Werber.
Uh-huh.
One day he went to a barn and he threw some hay up in the air, and then he went, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. And then
there was the chosen baby right under the pile.
The chosen baby was brought in by moonlight, and that's when we said, I'm Mormon now.
Cool. Mormon stemming from moon.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking, they were saying that they were just in the middle of watching some TV, and I was like, if you don't mind, like, I really need just a little bit of time to
sure, I'd love to stay and watch with you.
I was like, I do this podcast thing every now and again. I talk about, like, movies and whatever, and I'm interested
to talk about.
I really need something to talk about. Like, I'm really running low on material. Please. I need to stop talking about JRPGs.
Please let me watch something with you guys.
And they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. We were actually just about to start watching Barry. So this is a new comedy show that is on Netflix, starring Bill Hader, directed by Bill Hader. Yes, on HBO.
Not Netflix.
Netflixbio.
Netflix me off sometimes when I don't choose.
That's rude.
Enough.
That's very rude.
Especially when I pay for it. It's like, what the fuck? What are you flipping me off for?
Yeah, rude. rude.
Sorry.
I feel like they're just doing it like if when I'm doing it, like
Right.
it's a reason because there are things in this metal hand, like my middle finger is a knife.
Yeah,
And I use it to
absolutely.
sharpen my teeth.
And I have stopped taking offense to it because I know you're just using a tool there.
Yeah, I'm not doing it out of spite.
Exactly.
I'm just doing it because I have a knife.
I know that. You do it a lot when we're driving, though.
Oh yeah, because I really like taking care of my teeth. You know, you got those mirrors in
True,
there.
I know.
Just kinda...
But remember when I hit that speed bump, that's exactly how that cut happened on the upper gum.
Yep, it sure did.
All right, anyway, HBO, Barry.
HBO, Barry.
Okay.
So this is a fantastic new show that is out now. There are only 4 episodes. It's not finished.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not going with the streaming service thing where it's like, oh, here's a new episode. Here's a new season.
Right. Binge
enjoy.
away. No, it's
Enjoy.
weekly. It's a weekly.
It's a weekly show, which HBO really does well with, like Westworld and John Oliver and all the other guys that you like on HBO.
Yeah.
So Barry is about Bill Hader plays a professional hitman.
Right.
And he works for his uncle, Stephen Root. I fucking love Stephen Root.
Stephen Root, is that the actor's name?
That is the actor's name.
Gotcha.
Stephen Root is Bill from King of the Hill.
Oh, okay. Not Henry Winkler, because he's whole.
Henry Winkler is in it.
Yeah.
I'll get to that one like a little bit more with a plot synopsis. So Bill Hader is assigned to kill this actor kid by a Russian mob. He follows the guy and goes into his acting class where he meets Henry Winkler, who is an acting teacher. And after going on stage with a really uncomfortable with the guy he's supposed to kill, like in a very uncomfortable scene, it seemed like I think it was from a Spike Jonze movie. And the guy was playing a black character, so he put on dreadlocks.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
This show is one of the smartest written comedies I've seen in years.
I have a lot of confidence anytime I see Bill Hader doing anything because
And the
everything
fact
I've watched
that he's
him in.
directing this,
Oh, wow.
this is solid.
Wow,
this is
man.
solid coming from him.
I just remembered Stephen Root. He's Milton from Office Space, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes, that's the guy. Okay.
That's Stephen Root,
Right. And from
And
Dodgeball.
like
yeah.
as soon as you hear his voice, you're like, "Yep, there's
yes.
Bill."
Yes.
Bill Dauterive, just crying again, or Buck Strickland.
And he's also in what was that? No Country for Old Men. He's
in No Country for Old Men. He was the blind guy in Oh Brother, We're Out Thou.
Yes.
What the fuck else? He was recently in Get Out.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of supporting.
He does
roles.
a lot of support roles, but like as soon as you see him, you're like,
I always think of Milton. I always think of Milton when I see him.
But he's a secondary character. He's kind of like Barry's boss. But Barry goes through this acting class, and while he's on stage and getting applause, he's like, "What?"
Gets the bug.
He gets the acting bug.
Yeah.
Because he feels like he's going nowhere. He feels like he's not going anywhere, and that's why he decided to be a hitman.
Being a hitman's not his true calling.
But killing people like doesn't give him the thrill like it used to.
Right.
So it's him trying to become an actor. He convinces Henry Winkler to continue in his class. All the while, he has to try and keep the Russian mob happy. But at the same time, trying to keep his cover as a professional killer is very hard when he connects with one of his classmates, and she's very much into him. My favorite line out of all of these episodes, I think it's from episode 2. He's out with the girl, and he drops her off at her apartment, and she's about to invite him in, and he's like, "I don't think I should be doing that." And she's like, "Yeah, we shouldn't do this. Like, it's so weird, like friends, like having sex, or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird." And she goes, "You want to come inside and talk about it?"
Yes. I always love that. Those doorway scenes and conversations are hilarious because it's always it's teetering on the brink, and the way that people.
This show is very much just like hit on the head, like,
yes. Come on.
Do you want to talk about it?
Right. Let's come inside and let's talk about the sex that we're not gonna have because it's weird.
You want to come inside?
Yeah.
The show is phenomenal. We busted through the 4 episodes that are out now and having a great time. It's so well structured and it's so funny, and I really like Barry as a character because he's so he feels like he's so uncomfortable with everything he's doing except when he's being a professional hitman. Because him trying to do the acting stuff, he's not good at it.
Right.
But Henry Winkler just really, really likes him. Henry Winkler's part in this is fucking fantastic, too. The dialogue between him and Barry are so well written. It's such fast, punchy writing. But the jokes never feel like they're going in uncomfortable areas, even though it is kind of a dark comedy because Barry is a hitman.
Yeah.
Very interested to see where the show is going, and I think anyone who loves Bill Hader will love this.
Cool.
I mean, I wish I could talk about it more, but the problem is there's only 4 episodes right now. So
totally understandable.
There's
it's a new HBO show.
It's a new HBO show, so this is like, I guess this is my review of saying, hey, the first 4 episodes are fantastic. Watch it.
Yeah. And it's you feel good about where it's headed. So it's exciting.
I like where it's going. I just need more snappy one-liners. Like,
sure.
Like Bill Hader is trying to imagine himself in a grocery store. So he's like, all right, you're in the store.
Yeah.
You're looking at the shelves. What do you see? Gum. Gum is at the register, Barry. What do you see?
Right.
It's very good. I highly recommend it. I can't really talk about it a whole lot.
Fair. No, that's totally fine. So both HBO content, new content from HBO, Greg and I recommending Andre the Giant, the wrestler documentary, and Barry. Seemed like HBO coming at it with some good stuff.
They're coming on strong. I mean, did you see anything else while we're at it?
As a matter of fact, I did, and this one, this was not having to do with Raj. Once we were done with the Andre the Giant documentary, we talked about wrestling for a little bit. We messed around, like we wrestled a little bit ourselves, and then in the midst of the play fight,
how hard
loop.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, how hard into the wrestling? Like, did he want you to take your shirt off?
No, we didn't disrobe at all. He took off his turban, and so that's
had to be careful of the wires.
Buttons. Yeah, so I that's when I first saw that too, and that that was a little bit shocking. So anyway, in the midst of that, we got out of the time loop, and that was fine. Convinced Raj to leave, but I stuck around and was talking with Scummy then, who. One of his plants, even though no time had passed, one of Scummy's plants actually whispered in his ear that the time loop had taken place. So then all of a sudden Scummy's like up there and he's like, Raj disappears and I just woke up and as far as I know, like not even a second has passed. But then Scummy just said, oh, blimey. And then this plant leans over and is like, yeah, right, no. And he turns to me and goes, what the fuck is a time loop? And I was like, what do you know about it?
It's Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, right. It's the snake eating its tail. It's whatever. And then Scummy's like, no.
No, that's
Virginia.
An Ouroboros.
Oh, not Aurora Borealis.
No, Aurora Borealis.
It's not glow in the dark snake eating its tail?
No, it's just the Northern Lights.
Damn. Okay.
Sometimes localized entirely in your kitchen.
I need to get a kitchen so that I can start seeing that stuff.
I mean, if you're at Scummy's place all the time, I mean, you've got a kitchen.
I will tell him to start trying. We're going to have to try and get some of those magnetic storms going up there. But so anyway, Scummy's like, no, Virginia just said you on a scary Indian looking man.
Wait. He called his plant Virginia.
Yes.
Were you offended by that?
No.
Oh, I see. Picking favorites again, huh?
What are you talking about?
When I had Sonny... When I first lost my fingers,
yes,
I had a beautiful flower named Sunny. We've gone over this many times.
Yes.
I like to see this hypocrisy going on.
It's not hypocrisy. As I said, Sunny was growing out of your finger and was changing the way that you thought. It was whispering. It was a silver-tongued devil.
It was telling me how its day was.
No.
And also let me talk to grass.
Scummy and Virginia are two separate entities. Virginia exists entirely by herself in a pot that Scummy can walk away from.
You are just afraid of our union.
Again, I would bring up, I think you're a lot better off with the metal hand now, and I still maintain that I saved you from
I'm just not
Sunny.
a fan of hypocrisy.
I think I saved you from Sunny, and I still maintain that belief.
No.
But anyway... Hey, you're entitled to your own opinion. That's fine. But so I'm up there. Scummy goes through the whole, time loop. Fuck you. What is this? He's coming in my house. And I was like, all right.
Oi.
Yeah. And I was like,
jumping
okay.
up and down.
I was like, settle down. Let's talk about it over some tea. You've got the kettle boiling already. Why don't we just do this? It's like, yeah, all right. You're lucky. I'm feeling it. What? We haven't had breakfast. We haven't had English breakfast tea. And I was like, no. So why don't we have a cup? And that'll be fine. And so we went from there, and I started talking with him about the last time Raj and I hung out, and about how I was like, well, I'm gonna, I'm gonna give him a shot now. It's all fine. I started talking about the cat suit and all that, and Scummy was like, yeah, I don't need to hear that. I think it's gross that you dress up in the leather and whatever. And then I was like, okay, so we were talking, and then he's like, look, you watch this cool documentary. I've been watching something, and I want to share it with you because I've got nowhere to go until about tomorrow, which is why you're going to stay here. And I was like, oh yeah, so I ended up staying there. But before he left, he introduced me to a Netflix series called A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh, that's
Lemony
unfortunate.
Snicket. Yeah, it ended up being that. So I had seen the movie. The movie Series of Unfortunate Events with Jim Carrey came out years ago, and it was,
did you read the books?
No, I have not. And one thing that I thought was good about this Netflix series was that the writer, whose name... Stand by. Let me just use your hand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jerk.
This information is brought to you by...
Ow, careful.
Yeah, sorry. This information is brought to you by Scummy Seeds. Scummy Seeds. He's starting his own line of plant seeds.
Yeah, he'll seed you. He'll bury him deep in you.
Yeah, he will.
Deep inside, here comes Scummy Seed.
The writer, though, for the series on Netflix, Series of Unfortunate Events, his name's Daniel Handler. He wrote the majority. There's a few other people involved, but he wrote the bulk of all these episodes for season 1 and 2. He actually wrote 3 or 4 books as Lemony Snicket. He's an author of these books. He's an author of The Reptile Room. He's an author of The Miserable Mill. Like, he actually is an author of the books. So... So
if you were a big fan of the books, you would probably really like the show.
Most likely. I haven't read the books, so I can't say for certain.
Neither did I, and that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt similarly.
That, and also because when I first watched it, I was 26 when it came out.
Ooh.
And I don't give a shit.
Well, so what I want to say about it is this, so Scummy and I watched the first 2 episodes, then he ended up having to leave, and while I was there for the rest of the few days, I burnt through the rest of season 1. I guess there are 2 seasons out on Netflix right now. I've only seen season 1. Season 1 is 7 episodes, I believe. It's, or maybe 8. It would be 8, I suppose.
It's about... I want to say it was...
Because it's 2 episodes per, book. And there's the first book, which is the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
and there's the Reptile Room, which is another 2. The Miserable Mill, which is another 2. And then... there's the Lachrymose Lake, which is another 2. So there's 8. Anyway, so it's an 8-part miniseries on Netflix, and they go through those 4 books. Neil Patrick Harris plays Count Olaf. There's... Will Arnett cameos as the dad, Kobe Smulders as the mom. The kids do a great job.
Patrick Warburton plays Lemony Snicket.
Yes, and that's one of the better parts of this series. I love Patrick Warburton when he does voiceover stuff, and Lemony Snicket in the series talks directly to the camera or the audience. So he's kind of breaking the fourth wall. The problem is ultimately why I didn't love the series is because it's a story that's meant for kids. The books are for a younger audience. The series is for a younger audience. Even the movie that I enjoyed, mainly because of Jim Carrey, was for a younger audience. And what this whole story of the Lemony Snicket and the Baudelaire family and the series of unfortunate events, what it's all comes down to is that it's set in a world where all the adults are either impotent, incompetent, or uninterested. They're incapable of helping the children in a long-term way. And the kids know everything.
Kind of like the adults that usually adopt them are really sweet and really kind and know their parents, and they're like, yeah, we'll take care of you. I'm your long-lost uncle or fucking whatever.
I was who you were really supposed to be with this whole time.
And then they die.
And then they end up dying. And Count Olaf is somehow responsible.
Every single fucking chapter.
Yes, exactly. It's the same things. And that's what I mean, is that every time an adult tries to help them, for some reason, they cannot. And there's different categories of adults, and there's different reasons why they can't end up helping them. But the kids are they're never helped. And the series really, again, if you're not a young reader or watcher, the series really beats you over the head with this whole notion of the kids are smart. They know everything, and they're smarter than the adults.
The boy likes to read.
Yeah, and the kids know the answers, and the adults are stupid. Like, they just don't see that Count Olaf is Count Olaf.
Things.
Yeah, the most frustrating character I think in the entire thing is this Mr. Poe banker guy. This guy who is constantly shuffling the kids from family to family and constantly in denial of Count Olaf being the person in disguise who is constantly trying to get their fortune and get custody of them.
Like,
and all
he's
that.
staring, like Count Olaf is staring him right in the face, and he's like, "Oh, you seem familiar." "Oh, no, you're not. You're just a nice, friendly
Right.
man. How
Exactly.
dare you say he's a murderer when
exactly.
it's this crazy stalker man who's been following him."
And it's frustrating. Like, when you're an adult watching this, it's frustrating because it's like so fucking stupid. You're like, you can't like. And again, I binged it. I went through all of it, so I don't know if it would be as frustrating if I watched it one at a time. But
no, I think it would still be frustrating
Yeah.
because every episode plays exactly the same. It's got the same exact story beats.
And
The only difference is,
What room are they in now?
Yeah,
This
totally.
one's got snakes.
This one has a lake with leeches.
This one is a mill.
Yeah. Another actress that I thought did a good job in the series was the woman at the Lachrymose Lake who played their Aunt Josephine, I guess.
oh, that's I can't remember her name, but she was
Alfre
in
Woodard.
Yeah, she was
Alfre
in
Woodard.
Luke Cage.
Yes, exactly. She's a great actress. She's awesome. She's so good that her portrayal of this character made me almost like cheer when she got shoved into the lake and just chomped on by the leeches, because she's so frightened all the time. She's always like screaming, and she's impotent, unable to help the kids, and gets like, so she was in these 2 episodes always screaming, always being annoyingly frightened and frustratingly
She's so
incapable.
good at it.
Well, that's what I mean. She was good at it. She's a good actor, and so it's like, it wasn't her that I disliked, it was the character. So that was like really good. There's some good portrayals like that. Another thing that stood out to me as weird at the end of season 1, like at the end of the last episode, they do a musical number. They do this song, and it's like, it's Neil Patrick Harris sings, the kids sing, the parents, a lot of the supporting characters, like everybody's like singing this song. And the song's not very good. Like, I know Neil Patrick Harris is musically capable, but the song, Patrick Warburton is
sung it for the Oscars, man.
I know, he's good, but like the song is bad. It's just bad. Like, it's bad.
Like the rest
musically.
of the show, it's bad.
Yeah. So I really, I mean, again, like if your kids are watching Netflix and you're looking for something to put on for them, I would recommend this. But if you're an adult watching it, I'm not recommending it.
I think the thing that would really set you into like getting into the show is if you actually read the books. If you never read the books, I don't think you're gonna enjoy it that much. Like,
Yeah.
I remember being in grade school and seeing other kids with this series. I just could never get into it. I was like, wow, okay, it's like Harry Potter, but it's, macabre and fucking sad.
Yeah, and I actually enjoy the gray world of it, like the cynicism, the how it's kind of a dark and dreary world. Like,
It's great.
I actually enjoy
it's great
that
for kids. It's great that it's like a darker tone story, but it's still fun for kids.
Yes, exactly, and that's just.
Well, we're grown ass men.
Yes.
we don't fucking care.
No, and so that, and the repetition of it being a dark and dreary world, it's like, guess what? I fucking know that. You know what I mean?
But, like the sheer repetition of all the story beats, like from episode 1 onward, it's like it's the same thing happening over and over and
Yes.
fucking over again.
yeah. So it's ultimately, as you could, probably guess, like from Greg and I, it's just not. It's not really
I just want
worth your
Joan
time.
Cusack to come back. Joan Cusack was the best part of it.
She's always great. She does this sort of like doofy, crazy neighbor lady like perfectly. She does the same thing in Shameless.
But she's
It's the
also
same
like
character.
lovable. Like
Yeah.
she's so lovable when she does it.
Absolutely. It's the same character she plays in Shameless that she does in
It's the
this
same
series.
character she plays from Toy Story.
Yeah, she's great. She really is an excellent part. There's a lot of supporting cast that do well. There were parts that made me laugh. Like, there were parts that I thought were enjoyable. There's a lot of times that Neil Patrick Harris, like, basically, jokingly talks about how Netflix is superior to going out and watching a movie in the theater or watching like cable or something. They kind of make jokes like that. You can see that they're trying to make it appealing for adults. I just think that the overarching tone of everything and the theme of the show makes it a little hard to watch as an adult.
Because it's goofy and cartoony.
Yeah.
For kids. If
Yeah.
it was a little bit more realistic, I feel like adults would have gotten more into it, but because it's so wacky, like it's a wacky fucking world. The fucking little baby sister can bite through metal chains.
I know. She chomps like a log in the lumber mill when they're working there. She like cuts the wood into a shape.
All three of the siblings have like some kind of dumb power to them.
Superpower, yeah.
They have like some dumb superpower to them. One is very smart. One's like, I think like
she's one's an inventor. One reads, and the baby bites. That's what they do.
And you get that every episode. You're gonna get that scene of the little girl like putting her heads against her temple.
Well,
like,
and the other thing is another part of this is that like they'll be in at least 3 of the episodes I can remember. They're in a situation where like time is a factor. You know what I mean? Like the house is actively falling over the edge of like the cliff or whatever, or they're in the lumber mill and somebody is on a log actively moving towards this table saw. Like they're in a situation that is tense and there's time as a factor.
Time.
Yes. And Violet, the girl, she takes a moment to tie her hair up, close her eyes, and like concentrate.
That's what it was. It's the hair tying up. Like,
yeah, she ties up her hair.
As soon as you see her close her eyes and tie her hair up, it's like, oh, here it comes.
If you see Violet Beauregard tying her hair in this manner, you can bet she is about to invent something.
Patrick Warburton.
I just wanted to come in and say, I'm Lemony Snicket. And I worked on this Netflix show.
Well, that's great and all. I want you out of my boxcar with your shitty TV show.
Listen.
Go back to being putty, you son of a bitch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why would you kill me this way?
Because it's funny.
Yeah, please get out of here. We actually, Greg and I are running out of time. We'll talk to you another time. Go seek medical help now because you've got some wounds there.
Keep moving before I shoot your ankles.
Okay, it's dark and dreary.
You're shuffling. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's great. Let's close the door now. Anyway, so Lemony Snicket, the Netflix series, don't like it. Conversely, I'm not going to talk about the movie, but I enjoy the movie because I love Jim Carrey, and I think Jim Carrey as Count Olaf
is just
hilarious.
Fun.
He's fun, and so in the movie, a version of this story, I actually prefer it. If you're looking for something to get you into the Lemony Snicket world,
and something
I would
quote
say
unquote more accurate to the book,
I would say the movie is. That's what I would recommend. But again.
I don't recommend any of it. I don't like any of it.
Well, I
don't care.
And there you go. Exactly. It's series of unfortunate events. Kind of like this show. Kind of like this show. But anyway, it's been fun. I think we talked about some stuff today. I'm actually going to go get Patrick Warburton's autograph before he gets too far away, and maybe I can escort him to the hospital.
No, I'm sorry, Don. He's dead.
No, he isn't.
Look at him.
Well, I mean, maybe he's passed out. Maybe he's passed out.
From the holes?
From the laser shots, yeah. Maybe he's just knocked out.
I don't think he has a foot anymore either.
No, you didn't take it off.
Oh, yeah, I did. I busted that shit up.
Well, I'm going to have to take it with us then. We're going to I'm going to take him to the free clinic. But anyway, Andre the Giant.
Don't you fucking bring up my name if you go there.
I won't. I'm not going to.
Good.
I don't tell anybody who shoots who. They know not to ask me questions when I'm there.
Freak is starting to be like,
oh, here's another guy with laser shots. I wonder who did it.
Well, thankfully, I mean, come on. We have a don't ask, don't tell policy. Like, I go down there, nobody asks me why I'm fucking missing anything or where I've gotten this stuff.
It's not so much the record stuff. It's more that I'm tired of Freak looking at me like I'm a freak.
Well, I told you, he's getting weird. He's in this weird, like, other place now. He's wearing pants. He's getting more work. He's full of himself now. He's a totally different guy.
Well, he can fix it on his own.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'm gonna get Patrick Warburton into the to the free clinic here. Andre the Giant, wrestler, the HBO documentary. Really, really good. Highly recommend it. Barry,
a fantastic comedy series. Brand new, and it's not too far into its season, so there's plenty of time to catch up. The episodes are about like 45 minutes.
Nice,
like that.
Nice.
I forget how long they are.
But in HBO,
time kind of moved slowly when I was with the Robinsons.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and then I kind of stayed there for like 3 days.
Typical HBO like Sunday show. I think Barry's released on Sundays.
It's every Sunday.
Yeah, so that sounds really good. And then series of unfortunate events on Netflix. Unfortunately, not really worth your time if you're over the age of I'm going to say 13. So
over the age of like I'd say like maybe later teens.
Yeah,
maybe
15, 16,
17.
If you're driving, don't watch it. Don't text either.
Well, you shouldn't do that.
No. So anyway, yeah, but that's it for us this week. Greg, thank you again. Let's get some food after I get Patrick over to the free clinic.
Yeah, dude, I am hungry.
Yeah,
I am a hungry
absolutely.
boy. Fucking knick-knack taking all my inner pancakes.
I know. Actually, fuck you, man. It looks like he's still fucking lingering up there.
Hey, Knick-Knack!
Hey, man. Don't you... Yeah, that's right. You flick his ass off. Oh, fuck, the drone. The drone.
Oh,
fuck,
shit.
The drone.
Run!
Shit.
Run!
Ah! Thanks, we'll talk next week.